Welcome to another episode, guys. How's everybody doing? Make sure to destroy that like button. Bitcoin getting a pump action movement to the upside. How is everybody doing? Let's dive in right away. First of all, to say hello to the beautiful community. How is everybody doing? Let me know if you can see me, if you can hear me. I'm going to dive in right away. Say hello to everybody, first of all, and then we'll dive in through the charts because we did get a little bit of a pump in the last 24 hours. We ain't going to talk about politics or war, okay? It happened. We are going to go through the comment section. We are going to be analyzing the situation here for Bitcoin, the most important levels of resistance, support, my trades. Am I in a short position yet? Am I interested in a short? Absolutely. Do I see more downside? Potentially, yes. Everything points out that a corrective move or an impulsive move to the downside is possible, guys. And we are going to discuss it in today's live stream. Where am I looking for a short position? Still maintaining the long from Sunday, just a couple of days ago. Did not enter a short position. I was letting the community aware that I'm not shorting yet, okay? Throughout Discord, throughout the Telegram signals channel, taking profits, not in a short just yet. This morning, epic profits from the longs of the lows of the range, right? Give or take 99, 100K zone, and in no short position yet, okay? I will let them know exactly what I am looking for, of course. And just because summer holidays, it's end of June, we do have a special offer for the first 100 people that talk to me in the Telegram. Reach me out on the Telegram. It is the first link down below in the description, guys. If you want an insane discount for the Discord, the Legends trading community, where you have the modules, all the updates, possible setups, okay? Massive discount for the first 100 people that reach me out. And also, we're going to give a special offer for the Signals channel, guys. This is growing pretty nicely. You know, just sharing what I'm doing with my trades and when I'm entering my personal Bitcoin trading setups. So you have the link down below for all of those people that want to join and take their trading to the next level. Let's go. How is everyone doing? Alan, yes, I am here. Alan, what a beast. He is here. We're going to analyze the situation. Who's been long? Who's been short? We need to discuss what we were talking about yesterday. I jumped on a call with Devil yesterday to analyze this situation. We were both leaning on the side of, yeah, this does look like that we need to form some kind of a three-wave structure, right? This would have been too shallow. We'll go in detail explaining all of this. I was interested in shorts in this zone. I wanted a three-waver, fail to move higher, and then short later on a sign of weakness. There was no sign of weakness. I wanted a three-wave structure. We'll go in detail of what's happened in the last 24 to 48 hours, and then what I'm looking for next. We do have a few scenarios on how the price could develop. It seems like one of these ones that we mentioned has the highest probability right now, which is the flat, okay? Look for that breakdown when we were trading at the $105,000 just a few days ago before the drop, to potentially get the drop down to 100K zone, even lose it, and then look for the rally to claim again the recent highs that were created around about $106,000, which we are just about scratching, right? So yeah, this seems like a pretty interesting short position. We'll go in detail on this live stream on what I am looking for, especially analyzing how did we rally all the way up here. This is the interesting zone. This is the interesting pump. This is what I'm interested in. Okay, how did we get up here? What kind of waves? What kind of extensions? Where is the strongest levels of resistance? And what different patterns can we have based on the information that we have in the last few weeks? In a nutshell, I think the price is potentially gonna reject here, right? So we'll go right away. There's a bunch of liquidity above those highs at 106.5. It would be nice to sweep those liquidities. Sometimes you wait for the liquidity. It does make sense to get a rally here at some point. That is the zone that I'm interested, depending on the reaction on these different levels, okay? So we'll go in detail through those levels. Still in the long, taken most of the profits. Gonna leave a bit open just to hedge against potential shorts that I'm gonna take maybe today, maybe tomorrow, right? So let's go through the comment section, say hello to everybody that is joining right now. Baby Genius, lol, what's going on, my man? Andy's thumbnail shows that we have to 100x short now. Yeah, 100x, that's a little bit aggressive. I usually do 10, 20, 25, 35 would be my kind of max usually. Very rarely I will do over a 50x leverage trade, but it doesn't really matter. It all depends on the percentage risk. Daniel Singleton, how are you doing, my brother? Much love to you. Thank you very much for joining. Here he is, Daniel Singleton. Relief, number 13 on the like. Let's see how those likes are rolling, legends. And yeah, those likes are doing pretty damn good. They're above 50 right now. That's not too bad, okay? Do you think Andy will do you think Andy will take his clothes off today, says Phantom. We need to get at least to 500 likes for that, guys. Okay, if you want my clothes off, at least 500 likes. And I will definitely take my clothes off if we get to 500 likes. Not sure. I think nobody wants to see that, but just for you, Phantom. Hi, Legend. What a night. What a night. A lot of fear. War this, war that. Halted. Everything's coming to an agreement. You know, US attacking there. Iran attacking over there. Now we're all friends, at least for the short term. You know, all of that, it did get a pretty significant rally, right? When everything stopped. I'm in Dubai right now, and I am going back to Europe in a few days. And yesterday's airspace in United Arab Emirates was closed. So I was like, you know, I might not be going anywhere. So yeah, apparently everything is okay, at least right now, right? How long will that last? Well, we don't know. Is 𝗬𝗆𝘆𝗽𝗍 here too? Maybe he will be joining later on. Maybe he will be joining later on. Hit the like. Andy's doing this for us. World War 208. Thank you very much, brother. FR, hey, how are you? Ready to join Legends Pro, man. Moody, this is the moment if you want to join the Legends Trading Pro. You know, you have the Telegram. That's another thing. That's where we're sharing information, but I'm saying when I'm entering a trade, right? I go straight to the point. I'm entering here, not shorting yet. I'm shorting now. Stop loss here. I'm targeting here. This is where I just throw my trades, okay? Not many. I usually take 2, 3, maybe 4 trades a week. So I'm not scalping and day trading I'm just looking for high probability trades and really chilled way of trading. But that is it's the best way for me at the moment, right? I'm not, you know, looking for every single scalp. If you want to scalp this little range that we're in right now, you always have the option. You got the lows to get into a long, or you got the highs to potentially short as an SFP. This does look like a bit of a bullish flag. It does look a bit bullish flaggy, okay? You got a 1, 2, potential 3, 4, and 5. Then to get the movement down. If you want a long here, eventually, if you're looking for an ABC, either a flat, you want to try and long the lows of the range. It would be nice to claim that liquidity above us. You know, there is that bunch of liquidity, guys, which is very disturbing. Above 106.5, you know, heading to 107. Yeah, you know, there's quite a lot of liquidity up there. So just above the recent highs, right? The highs of last Monday, if I'm not mistaken, the 20th of June. It would be nice to get that nice pump. That wasn't Monday, that was Friday, right? Hang on a minute. Well, yeah, Friday, 20th of June. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, it's an interesting level. It would be nice to sweep up that liquidity. According to Elliott wave theory, right, we would potentially on the lower time frame have a 5th wave developing, which could get that correction to get at least below 104.6k at a bare minimum, maybe go even to much lower levels, right? So I'm interested in shorts without a doubt. I'm just remaining a little bit patient. But yeah, as somebody said, you got the, you know, I'm ready to join the Discord. I'm ready to join the Legends. You do have, obviously, the Discord where you have Bitcoin analysis, altcoin analysis, advanced setups. Here's where we look for the possible setups, video updates. 𝗬𝗆𝘆𝗽𝗍 also providing, you know, different screenshots on the different Elliott wave scenarios and levels of interest. You do have the modules from basic to advanced. Okay, Elliott wave theory, everything that you need to know to look for the opportunities, of course, and good risk management. And there is a special offer discount, guys, for the first 100 users that do reach me out today on the Telegram. Okay, make sure to reach me out with the first link down below, which is the Telegram group. Okay, and also an offer for the Signals channel, right? This had to be done. People just want to know when I'm entering a Bitcoin trade and when I'm not. This is where the Telegram Signals channel comes in. I just share where I'm entering the trade. Obviously, the latest one was from Sunday, which was just a few days ago. There was a potential entry long here, which I can explain. Okay, just right over here with this dip. However, this dip was ferocious. It was aggressive. But I got into a call with 𝗬𝗆𝘆𝗽𝗍 and we analyzed this and we thought, yeah, there's no way that this would be the end of the C wave. We actually discussed this on yesterday's stream. I'm like, I don't like this double top. You know, I'm not risking the double top. And of course, what happened here when I'm looking for a 3-wave structure to the upside is, we got it in front of our eyes with this dip. These give you the best opportunities, right? It looks like it's going to roll over to the lows, but we had big bullish CVD divergence that we mentioned yesterday. And of course, when we just go through the basics of Elliott wave theory, this did look very 5-wavy. All right, we did. Hang on a minute. Let's do that again. Okay, got a possible quick flat also here. Boom, boom, boom in your waveform. This did look very 5-wavy. Okay, this movement to the upside. You want the charts to be a little bit more symmetrical. When we were pumping here, I was like, you know, I want higher. And if we do reject, then what we had here, that was, I was discussing with 𝗬𝗍𝘆𝗽 here, I'm not sure if he's around. ABC flat seems like the best idea here, right? To then get a more symmetrical three-wave structure. The general idea yesterday was, you know, let's see if we do get a, you know, a zigzag down. ABC flat is an option to then get the rally to the upside. This is very one wavy. For this to be the end of the ABC, it's too quick. We need a little bit of more timing here and another wave up. And this morning, we got that three-wave move, right, in the end. And this being an ABC flat. And now the overall question is this a wave 2 or is it a wave B, right? And we're just looking at an ABC here, or is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? We got many options. I do realize that there is a chance in claiming the highs and rolling over, or even rolling over from here, guys. I think these are the two scenarios. I mean, a decent correction of a few $1,000s, right? Not coming down to break down, you know, 98K, but a significant correction here makes sense. So, you know, I'm right now thinking, am I going to get in with 0.5%, maybe 1%, and be ready with a, you know, 1% or even up to 2%, right? 3% max of capital to be risked on a trade, you know, stop loss relatively far away, and maybe add to the position if we do get that swing failure pattern, or remain patient and just wait for the breakout, right? Wait for the movement up and see if it fails or not. See if it swing failure patterns, or if we do hit those resistance levels. Interested in the short, I will let the people know when I enter the short. These are mainly small little swing trades. They last maybe 2 days or 3 or 4, right? So I will let them know when I get into the, you know, my big short position. So let's analyze the different structures on the higher time frame, okay? Bear with me here, guys, because it's a little bit more complex than just a simple moving average and RSI is overbought and we can all short or we can all long. We look at the different structures to find the highest probability movement. Right now, since the last few days, you know, this was back a few days ago where we were looking at maybe this does make sense, right? Maybe this does make sense where we get the breakdown, we either form a triangle or a flat. Of course, if a triangle is formed in X, more likely you do form a flat. So I'm liking this general idea. It looks very good. And we are hitting a minimum target already for the flat, right? Let's just pull out here the possible corrective move. This one obviously went through the window. I didn't like it anyway. We thought about this. We just need to have it on the chart, regardless if it's an ABC or this WXY, which just doesn't look good at all. But, you know, it's a valid count, but low probability because X was very shallow and you're expanding flat here as well. Your B wave hit the 1.618 extension, just lowest probability for all of this big fat mess. So we don't take it into consideration too much. And the highest probability scenarios continuing the range was the triangle or the flat, right? Flat preferred because X already formed a triangle, and to form another triangle here in your wave Y, it has less probability. The fact of this scenario that we mentioned a few days ago, we got the movement down, we got the rally. Preferably you do take out this pivot and you do get the rejection here. You form a kind of a swing failure pattern, and this could actually come and claim the lows again in the next coming days. It is a projection move. It could happen. It is valid. This is how the chart moves. We know our levels. We know how the price can react. It would be a beautiful liquidity grab and just get a major corrective move, right? So, well, in this case, it would be a C wave. So it could look pretty aggressive. It could look very impulsive, right? Which is, you know, there's where the bears are going to come out and say, I told you so. We are going lower. You know, this was a fake rally. It's on the chart, so it's definitely a scenario that we could be looking at here. Now, the situation with this scenario is it could already dump from current levels. It has all of this range to dump because inside of an ABC flat, your minimum target for the B wave, all right, is hitting the 0.9 Fibonacci from your A wave, right? So this is the current movement that we are talking about right now. The 0.9 Fibonacci from the A wave here to the downside has been hit already. So the minimum target for a B wave in a flat has been hit. 0.9 Fibonacci from the movement down has been hit. So we could already move down from here. It's possible, right? You know, this is the thing right now. My question overall is, do we reject from this zone already? Or do we get one more leg up and then reject? That is the thing that I'm battling right now with myself, right? When you have this kind of doubt, sometimes it's worth just getting in with 0.2% of your capital and say, you know what, just in case the price does dip down, and you know, I'm just getting with a very small position, stop loss is, you know, above these highs, and you're ready to add to the position once you get that clear sign, swing failure pattern, sign of weakness, and then you just add to the position, realizing that, yes, it is faking out, right? We've got the liquidity grab, and just add ever so slightly to the position. I'm fine of adding to the position as long as you don't get in with 10% of your capital and then add another 10% and then add another 20%, and then you run out of you run out of capital to add to the position, right? Because you're literally risking your entire account. So this is why play around with, you know, 0.5 or 1% and even another 1% in this range is totally fine, right? You have a higher probability, right, in getting into this trade and adding to the position. That is totally fine. The probabilities are leaning that a movement down is likely, not only with this scenario, okay, because there is no big major bullish case scenario, guys. I'm sorry. I was very bullish with all of this, and I'm bullish realizing that all-time high will happen. It's just a matter of time. This is very corrective environment, all right, just like the one that we had in 2024 that was many months, right, till we actually broke all-time high. It's very, very corrective environment. The question is, the correction is maybe not finished. We do have some more waves to develop, okay? 𝗬𝗍𝘆𝗽 also pointed out something very interesting yesterday, which I am going to talk about also in the stream, which is possible, but it would be extending quite a lot. In a nutshell, this zone looks incredibly interesting for a short. I'm interested in shorts, guys. I'm long already. I've taken profits. I'm not interested in long in here. There might some little scalp longs here in this lows of the range. You know, point of control might get a bounce of this entire range. Yeah, that is totally fine. I'm looking for slightly bigger swings. I'm looking for slightly bigger swings that might last a few days. So I'm not that interested in scalping. For the last few months, since I've sold a few Bitcoin at this range in the last few months, which I'm actually outperforming, right? The trading account is outperforming. If you would have held Bitcoin, right, or if you would have traded it, if you know how to trade, well, you know, I'm outperforming the price action of Bitcoin. Some people say just buy and hold. Trading is risky. You're going to lose everything. Well, you know, it depends on if you're a good trader or not. But you know, when you see the percentage of Bitcoin, it's actually down in the last 30 days. I'm up 28%. So it all depends on the trader. If you know, you need to know how to trade. You need to know which exact levels you want to get into. And it's a matter of being patient and just waiting for the perfect opportunity. I miss out on a lot of trades just because I'm too patient sometimes. But at the end of the day, I'm looking for long-term gains, right? I want to be green in the month. I want to be green in the next 6 months, right? I don't want to A-pin on every single trade and scalp every single little movement, right? Before a few years ago, yes, that's fine, okay? It was a little bit more concentrated in day trading. But right now, I'm like, I'm interested in shorting in the zone, guys. I'm going to get into a short. I might get a small short in, you know, maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I might add to the short later on, right? And looking for a decent move down. So we want to be a little bit cautious eventually, as always, but this is the zone where I do see the rejection, right? You've got value area high over the entire range, high volume node on the volume profile, right? Right over here, high volume node, which is literally the value area high. You have the golden pocket from all-time high to the low, which is slightly above the highs of previous Friday. You know, there's a lot here. Liquidity, value area high. Could it extend a little bit higher to 108K plus? Yes, it could. Because in an ABC, right, I would be a little bit in doubt because it would be looking very 5 wavy. This movement up would be looking very 5 wavy. So what would happen with that? If it's looking very 5 wavy to the upside when we're looking at the lower time frame, right? Wouldn't it be an impulse? There is a bearish case scenario that 𝗬𝗍𝘆 discussed yesterday. Okay, there is a bearish case scenario that 𝗬𝗍𝘆, you know, I got into a call with 𝗬𝗍𝘆 yesterday. It was a really good. It's always good to get into a call and analyze. We analyze the charts every day, and at least twice a week we jump into a call and have a half an hour analysis discussing the local movements, which yesterday was ABC flat. ABC flat here and get a rally, which played out, which is very nice. And then a lot of people will say it's because no more missiles were launched, right? There's peace happening. We were analyzing the charts and understanding that a flat here was and a bounce back up was the highest probability scenario, right? So it's interesting, right? You see the news happening after your analysis. That's when you're like, damn, chart analysis is extremely powerful, right? Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news, they say. Let's go right away through that bearish case scenario, which 𝗬𝗍𝘆 pointed this to me out yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, it can happen, but it doesn't look good at all anyway. We've been discussing that all of this is corrective. It's not a 5-wave move down. There's overlap here of your wave 4 with your wave 1, and expanding diagonal was not an option because your wave 5 is shorter than your wave 3. All of this, you know, big red flags for this to be an impulse, or, you know, and an A, B, C, or a 1, 2, 3. This is why longing down here, and, you know, interested in it. I've been more successful longing here, guys, throughout this range than shorting. I just got into a couple of shorts, as you know, nothing too major. A little long right over here. Also, I've liked this range of the last few weeks. You know, for me, it's been a very good month trading this range. Let's continue with that, and I'm interested in taking a short, guys. But I'm very patient. I'm going to remain a bit patient. This is the zone that I'm interested in. This is the zone that I do see a rejection. Highest probability scenario that we were discussing a few days ago, you know, still points out for this. The flat makes more sense. A triangle after an X being a triangle is it is rare. It is rare to have a double triangle. So the flat looks interesting. But let's talk about the most bearish one, which would actually, you know, complete a 5-wave structure here and then maybe get a pretty aggressive roll down, or maybe get another range. Okay, regardless, you're looking for a pullback here. Regardless, you're looking for some kind of a pullback, at least of a couple of $1,000, $3,000 potentially, maybe to hit the 50%, 618 from the lows of the highs. Very likely. High probability. High probability rejection in this zone. Of course, we do have $2,000-3,000 of a range, but there's high probability. We just have a lot of liquidity above 106.5, so it just would be nice to get up there and then small position, stop loss, low leverage, 20, 15x. You know, that's what I'm looking at here, guys, in a nutshell. If we do blast off and we suddenly claim these highs and things are just getting extremely, you know, explosive, I would have to come to the conclusion that, you know, well, maybe the correction has finished, right? There is no analysis that I have right now to say that this is the low. and we just rally from here with no major pullbacks. There's just really no analysis to back this up. So it wouldn't make sense. I was not expecting a rally here to all-time high, and I'm looking for a rejection. One bearish case scenario that 𝗬𝗍𝘆 pointed out with me yesterday on a call is actually, there's two, which is, looking at this as a 5-waver, which we do not like already. It's literally looking at a ABC movement still to the downside, okay? However, this is not your B, all right? And your B wave is forming a running flat in this case, right? Or a flat where you have a zigzag to the upside, a zigzag to the downside, A wave zigzag, B wave zigzag, and then you're looking for, and then you're looking for the 5-wave up to finish your B wave of the higher time frame, and then get a big correction, a big impulse down to finish your C wave. And all of this becomes your ABC. And I'm like, it is possible eventually. Is it probable? I think not, just because of all of this mess. Based on a 5-wave impulse. We're no longer looking at this as a 5-wave impulse. There's invalidation, red flags everywhere with this 5-wave move down. Could it be possible eventually we're just looking at probabilities? Could it happen? Absolutely, it could. We're just looking at the highest probability movements potentially to happen. Could this be a scenario that happens? I'm like, it is possible, but low probability. Regardless if it's an ABC, right? The fact is, with this new information that we've had in the last few days, 3-wave move up, 3-wave move down. You could say that there's a 3-wave move down here. Instead of looking at this as the triangle, could this be a zigzag down? And this is only an ABC flat, running flat preferably, especially when you have this movement, right? You just need one more push up to finish a 5-wave structure, which is what you need in an ABC, right? To finish the B wave of a larger correction. It is definitely possible, okay? Where's 𝗬𝗍𝘆? Is he around? Is 𝗬𝗍𝘆 around? He's probably not. He's in the Discord. Too busy in the Discord. This is one thing that looks interesting, guys. We like Elliott wave theory. It is very powerful. It gives you several options. It gives you higher probability, lower probability, right? We love confluent zones. Eventually, I think Valley area high will not be broken. Even SFPing from this high is definitely an option. I am looking for a pullback here, and the question is, will this pullback be corrective, or will it be impulsive and actually claim the lows? If this is the scenario that we're looking at, which I think has low probability, which is looking at this as a 5-wave structure and an A wave, an ABC flat in your B wave, and then a nice 5-wave down, that could get pretty aggressive eventually and break down below at 98K, low 90K levels. You just need to say that it is possible right now with the new information that we got in the last few days. So there is the other one eventually. If you do count this as your ABC for your B wave, with the general idea that we had, right, counting this as a wave W, then you could have a larger WXY also, right? And you might be like, oh man, I've had it with all of these different scenarios that could happen. But hear me out. All of the scenarios point out that a rejection in this zone is highly likely, okay? No matter how many scenarios you have, if you have 5 scenarios, maybe out of the 5 scenarios, there is 4 that are pointing out for a rejection in this zone, which is where I want to get to, right? So with that other scenario also, which is the W right there, now you're forming your X in this flat, maybe running flat makes sense, and then you form your wave Y in the next coming days, give or take 1 or 2 weeks. Just because there's a valid count here, 3 wave up, 3 wave down, you're moving up potentially impulsively 1, 2, 3. If you consolidate here, maintain above the 382 50% Fibonacci zone from this pivot low, and you claim the highs, that is the moment that I will be like, right, this might be the count. This might be the running flat. Minimum target has been hit already, which is the 0.618 from your A wave to the B wave, right? That's all good. Running flat target, it has been hit. Running flats are rare, so you don't want to give it always the highest probability. But if you have the scenario, you need to take it into consideration. So W, A, B, C, running flat, and then your wave Y, which eventually would end up in a triangle, another triangle here, guys. If we range throughout the next week and we form higher lows and lower highs, this is highly likely going to be the count. It's going to be bullish, right? If we range and form a triangle, it's going to be a bullish triangle with a high probability. So it's more information that we have, right, that we need to wait for. But this is like the triangle that we mentioned. We discussed the potential triangle that could be forming here. However, as we got the information in, we realized that this could actually be an A, B, C, D, E, and this is your wave X, which we were very ready for this drop, right, a few days ago, right? This is actually when we were still inside of the triangle, and we thought, hey, there is actually a bearish case here. What if the X is, what if this is the bearish count? We get the drop down to 100K, and then we get the bounce. And I'm like, yeah, this, we always need to adapt to the new information that we get on the charts. So this was the case. We got the drop. We actually swept below 100K, and we got the significant rally, right, of $6,000, $7,000 in the last 24 to 48 hours. So I have to say I missed out on this short. I was in a short a few days ago from here. I added to the short, managed to make a bit of money, nothing too aggressive. But I didn't short this E wave. This was very, very difficult to short for me anyway. So let's go right away through the scenarios. The thing is, I'm so aware that we can reject from here already, guys. I am so aware of it. It would be nice to consolidate and pump. I am looking for a swing failure pattern. I am looking for the value area high to not be broken. I am looking at the golden pocket from all-time high to the pivot low of the last 2 days to be rejected and not get successful continuation. I know we could chop here and it could be a volatility fest or whatever, or maybe it's not. It's pretty simple. But I realize that this movement up is low probability. If we claim above 106.5, there's low probability that we smack out to all-time highs. Low probability. Very, very low. Most of the scenarios point out that we are going to move down. So yeah, I mean, this is the thing right now, because I know I'm really, really thinking of getting in a short right now, 0.2%, just in case we break down. The main reason why we could break down right now is because we have hit the minimum target for this possible ABC flat, right? Which is in the white here. So, a scenario that we mentioned a few days ago. We have hit the minimum target, 0.9 Fibonacci from the A wave, 3-wave structure, right? To the upside in the B wave. Now move down aggressively in a 5-wave structure to get below the lows of $98,000. Maybe hit 96, 97, 97, 96. This would be the end of the structure, in my opinion. This would make sense to be the end of a complex WXY. And I'm extremely interested in entering another long position. We get below 98K, guys, and I'm looking for longs aggressively. I might enter with 1%. Leave another 2% just to check the reactions. If we nuke down, then eventually I would want to close that position. But I'm very, very interested if we roll down back to the lows, guys. This is like, it would be the perfect scenario. it would be the one that is playing out. And this is, at the end of the day, it's only a bull flag, right? If you wish, it's only a bull flag. So yeah, shorting the lows of the channel, longing the lows of the channel will be the option. Interested in longs, guys. It really doesn't matter if I miss a good short position here, like with 2% of my capital. I just know there is a great opportunity here. If we were to come down there, if we nuke down, it doesn't matter. I missed the short just like I missed the short here, but I got into the long. So if I miss this short and it nukes down to below 98K, I will be ready to long here, guys. There is extreme high probability that we do not break down successfully. Could we hit 96, 95K, 94K maybe even, right? And kind of the very most scariest scenarios. Yes, but a massive recovery is highly likely, right, when we discuss these scenarios. So in a nutshell, be ready if it comes down here, legends. I will be letting know the Telegram. Guys, I'm entering along now, right? I'm always patient, and I say stay tuned, guys, because I'm interested in the trade. I will let you know as soon as I enter that trade and the different, the different scenarios that I'm looking at for take profit, stop loss. So you know the deal, right? I'm very patient. No shorts taken. I did not short. Still in the long. We've been pumping, so no shorts to be taken here. No shorts taken. I'm not in a short. Taking profits from the long. Interested in the short, but I'm patient. I'm patient. I realize the liquidity that we have above us. I would rather wait. Miss the short. If we roll down, maybe I can get in later on if we have a 5-wave impulsive move down and we get a clear correction. I would be looking for another leg down eventually. I will short later on. I can tell that to the Discord or the community. It might not be on YouTube eventually if it's not happening live. But I would rather be patient and say I've missed the first leg down. I'm interested in getting into the next leg. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Right, we are looking for a 5-wave move down to claim these lows. So I'll look to get into the second wave for the 3rd wave down, right? I would rather say I missed it instead of shorting here right now in this bullish consolidation. It might be bullish. It might be a 4th wave. There is a very high chance it can be. And then the price pops out and it heads up to 106, 107. And I'm in the short here, like, why didn't you wait, right? This has happened to me many times in the past. You know that there's liquidity up there. This could be a 5-wave structure. This is why getting in with 0.2, 0.3% makes sense. If you get up and get the swing failure pattern, liquidity grab, you can add to that position, boop, and that's it, right? Add another 1%. Always never risk. Right, that's my rule anyway, where it's the general rule of trading that don't risk more than 3% per trade, right? You might think, well, why didn't you enter with your entire account on this long position if you were so confident? You just can't, right? There's another trade around the corner, right? I don't want to risk 50% of my account, right? I want to make consistent gains. It's all about making those consistent gains throughout the next weeks and months. There's another trade around the corner, and I would be happy to miss the short and say, okay, it doesn't matter. We'll find something else. If we move down impulsively here in a 5-wave structure, then eventually, I am looking for the wave 2. I'm interested in the wave 2. I'm interested in between 50% Fibonacci and the 7/8 Fibonacci to get into that short trade here. Because I do know, based on the chart analysis, that this very likely is your A wave. This ended up in a 3-wave structure for the moment. So if we get a decent move down in a 5-wave structure, I do know that we could be developing the C wave of the flat. And inside of a C wave of this flat, we are looking for 5 waves down. So there could be an opportunity to get into the wave 2. Of course, we need to analyze the movement down. I'm on the phone. I don't need the charts. I'm on the phone. I know exactly how the movements are. This is why, I don't have any indicators or nothing, right? I just go from, I do have the folder eventually with stuff, but when I've done my analysis, I can just take a look at the candlesticks on my phone and I know exactly what I'm looking for. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. I will miss the short. I could potentially jump into the short later on because I know that the highest probability is actually moving down in a C wave here and a 5-wave structure in an impulse. There will be time. And this confirmation will happen, legends, once you hit the golden pocket from this pivot low to the pivot high that was formed today. I mean, you do have the highs anyway here at the golden pocket. So you realize that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not possible. If you roll down right now very aggressively in the next coming hours like this, you possibly have your wave 1 and 2 in already. If we get an aggressive move down here, we have a little correction and we move lower in that 5th wave. This will be the moment, okay, the bounce that I would be very interested. At least I want to see 50% hit, okay? And obviously I would actually be quite bearish if we do get this rejection, because I would be looking for, this would be the trade that I would be looking for. Back down to the lows, likely. Could it be a running flat? Yes, but lows are more likely to be hit. So I mean, this would be the trade setup that I would be looking at if I miss the short. If with price rolls down from here, I know I have a second chance at some point. I know I have a possible second chance. Okay, so if you roll down to the golden pocket, you're overlapping these pivot highs of yesterday. There's low probability that this actually forms a higher low and smacks out here. You're likely going to continue lower. Likely, very, very likely. So we need that bounce, 50% to 7-8 from the highs to the lows. And I do realize that we're looking at a C wave here, ABC flat. You've hit the minimum target of your B wave, which is the 0.9 Fibonacci. So maybe we are inside of that C wave flat already. So I'll jump in later on. I do realize, guys, that the highest probability in this area, regardless if we do take out the highs or not, is getting a pullback. I'm going to remain a little bit patient. I like this swing failure pattern idea. Okay, I would be in on the swing failure pattern. We move up 106, 107K. We fail to do so. I'm interested in this swing failure pattern, stop loss at the highs. I'm looking for a relatively nice move down here, at least to the golden pocket from the low to the high. 50% golden pocket, right, would be my target zone. So it's either swing failure pattern for me. I might enter a little bit aggressive here. I'll let the Telegram community know. Maybe I'll enter the golden pocket from all-time high to the low. Rejection, where we have those highs. There is a liquidity grab up there, guys. We do have significant liquidity above 106.5. So it just would be nice to get that 107, 107.5, sweep up all that liquidity and then dump. Right, so I am ready here to take action on a possible short on the rejection, and which we have the value area high. It all makes sense, guys. It all makes sense that there's liquidity up there. You have the value area high. Most scenarios point out that we are not going to, we are unlikely going to break out to all-time high here if we get above 106.5, and that we are looking for a rejection between 107 and 109K zone, which we also have the value area high. So you might think, why aren't you jumping into trade now? Why aren't well, this is where the trader's experience comes into play, right? This is where your experience comes into play here. If I know we can take out the highs, why do I want to short here? If I know we can drop from here or take out the highs, it's like you're a bit mixed up. You have both scenarios. Well, if you have both scenarios, let's remain patient if you like much better the potential failed breakout. Wait for it. Wait for that breakout, fake out, right, above 106.5, claim the liquidity, start hitting some resistance, and then be ready to enter the short on the rejection, or get into a small short, stop loss above 110k if you wish, right? Give it a bit of room. You're looking for a 2-3 to 1 risk to reward on a dip here. Just remain patient for either the swing failure pattern, maybe coming all the way up to the value area high is an option. Could we sweep up this high? I don't think we'll reach this high at 108.9. It's possible, but yeah, I think a rejection here, a sign of weakness, would be the best deal. Stop loss above the highs of the rejection. So this is kind of what I'm waiting for here. Let the price push up. You know, we have a chance of it. There's lots of liquidity. You know, if the price were to roll over from here, as mentioned, I do have a chance still, because the price should move down in a 5-wave structure. So there will be a chance. There will be a quick bounce of some kind here after getting an impulsive move down. So I'm waiting for that 5-wave down. And then, you know, this would be a bit of a confirmation. This is no longer bullish. It is a 3-wave structure. We've moved down in a 5-waver here. I'm looking for this leg down. Very likely to claim the lows. So I need that sign of weakness, and then I'll have the opportunity to jump in. So it's either this or it's either that, which is the swing failure pattern from the local highs. Claim the liquidity and then look for the short. And as explained, most of the scenarios point out that a rejection is the highest probability in this zone. So I know that there is high probability in rolling down either from here or actually sweeping up the highs 108k and rolling down. I know there's high probability on this movement instead of all-time high. So it's either swing failure pattern or wait for the 5-wave structure to the downside and get into the bounce. You're probably going to get that C wave of your Y wave of this entire WXY structure. So there's some, I'm just explaining a little bit my plan here, guys, because I'm here to make gains. I'm not here to get into every trade. It is attractive to say, why don't enter a small position here and just maybe add 1% once you get the swing failure pattern. Or if it breaks out, then just close the position at a loss. You know, I'm having a pretty good win rate at the moment here, so I don't want to get into any silly trades, right? I want to maintain the good discipline, wait for the scenarios that I've just explained, just so I can continue making some pretty nice gains, right? And outperforming Bitcoin, actually, right? If you would have held Bitcoin throughout the last, 30 days in this range, or you would have traded, well, if you're a bad trader, you would have lost your money. Some people say it's better holding the Bitcoin 90% of the times it is, but if you are a good trader, you can outperform Bitcoin eventually, especially when you're in a range and you know how to trade the range, right? I was more successful longing this range than shorting. There was only a couple of shorts that I managed to enter, but mainly there were a lot of longs that I entered here throughout this range. A few longs in this little uptrend as well. A little bit of day trades in this range. Nice short here. So it's been a very, very good, successful range, which mainly have been more longs than shorts. So anyway, let's go right away through the comment section. Say hello to the beautiful community. Devil is here, absolute legend himself. Here he is. We've been discussing the bearish case scenario. Devil, we have just discussed as well with the legends the analysis that we made yesterday in this range about the ABC flat and getting the leg up. Man, it's exactly what played out. The ABC flat right over here, 1 2 3 4 5 ABC flat, and another rally to complete that 3-wave structure that we were discussing as well on yesterday's live stream, right? I want to see a 3-wave move at least, because the price is developed with 3 waves or 5 waves, right? 3-wave move up, 3-wave move up, 3-wave move up here right now. was pretty explosive. And then you have the nay traders, right, that say, well, this was because, you know, there was some peace being handled yesterday with the situation with, you know, US, Iran, and all of that, right? Everything was halted, peace has happened, and we're like, well, you know, I was looking for this three-wave structure, you know, regardless of what happened worldwide, you know, I was really kind of more interested in this, really. And, you know, Devil, that's something that I was discussing. That was something that I was discussing with Devil yesterday. A lot of stocks and indices are at resistance. Yeah, NASDAQ is almost at all-time high. You know, maybe it did hit it. Resistance is all-time high for NASDAQ, right? We're literally at all-time high on the NASDAQ. I'm not sure what ES is doing, so I'm not sure what resistance you are talking about. You're probably talking about all-time high, basically, right? We are at the all-time high resistance. Yeah, S&P almost about to hit all-time high. So above all-time high, there's only Fibonacci resistance, right? Based on extensions, expansions. But yeah, we do have the all-time high resistance. Andy is goated. Much love to you, brother. Thank you very much for those kind words. Most efficient trader uses its own Bitcoin as collateral. Most efficient traders use Bitcoin as their collateral. Well, I have my Bitcoin in my portfolio. I have my investment Bitcoin, my spot Bitcoin. I used to trade with Bitcoin before, but I use US dollar tether. Okay, it doesn't matter if you can outperform the range. I am bullish on Bitcoin, so I mean it would make sense to rebuy. I just want to have some cash, guys. I want to have some dollars. You want to have a good diversification, you know, right? I am a Bitcoiner. I have significant amount of my net worth in Bitcoin, but I also want to have some cash, right? To just stay on the safe side. It's always good to sit on a stack of cash and even trade with a stack of cash. You know, I've been mainly trading with US dollar tether in the last year, and obviously, maybe if I would have traded, and I actually sucked, I missed out many longs here, guys. Bitcoin would have outperformed my account here in this rally throughout April and May, without a doubt. This is when I sold significant amount of Bitcoin, though. But yeah, without a doubt, it all depends, right? In a massive bull run, if you're holding, you know, there is going to be times that Bitcoin could outperform your, depends on how many Bitcoin you have as well. I mean, it depends on how many Bitcoin you have. But yeah, potentially this rally, right, you know, or this one right over here can outperform your trading unless you're in an epic long using Bitcoin. It really all depends, right? But anyway, my deal here is that in this range, I've actually outperformed, you know, in the last 30 days, I've outperformed the price of Bitcoin that has actually been in a slight downtrend. So, you know, my trading has outperformed if you hold Bitcoin. So, I mean, it really depends on if you're trading with Bitcoin, if you're trading a rally, if you're trading a range, if you're trading a downtrend. But there will be some rallies eventually, like an epic bull run, right? Eventually, this rally could have outperformed your trading account, right? You might be in some pretty good gains, but if you would have held Bitcoin, maybe that hold of Bitcoin would have outperformed your trading, right? In those months. But anyway, when you're ranging, you know, most obviously, or downtrending, you obviously your trading account should outperform Bitcoin, right? Unless you're an irresponsible trader and you take very bad decisions, which there are many out there. Don't get me wrong, most of the traders do lose money. So I do get the point. I'm very, very patient, guys. I'm very boring right now. I'm old. I'm 34. I don't need a scalp and day trade and get into every single trade. I'm just getting into the highest probability trading setups. And I'm interested in a short, but I'm not in a short already. I'll be happy to miss the short or get into the short later on the sign of weakness. And I'll let the Telegram people know. And I'm just so you can see it. There's a special offer right now, guys. Just so you guys can see it. Where I'm entering the trade, I'm not taking a short position yet. I'm looking for a short, so very likely in between today and tomorrow, they will get the signal trigger of me getting into a position. If you want that, join the signals channel on the Telegram. We got a special offer just for the last 7 days here, just so you can see it, guys. Just so you can see where I trade. So yeah, join that. You got the first link down below, and you got that special offer for the Discord as well, just for the last 7 days of June. You got the Discord, guys. Insane offer discount to join the community, the Discord, which you have the modules, you have the updates, that you got Devil here, rest of the coaches, advanced setups, right? A big community also with the chats, and you have a great discount just for the last 7 days. Make sure to hook me up here on the Telegram, which is the first link down below, legends. Okay, not much we can continue with Bitcoin here. I've literally explained my plan. Here. Maybe if you're a 𝗬𝗔 trader, right? I want to look for a scalp. I want to get in long or short. Well, this is a boring range. Best thing that you can do in a range is look for the fake outs of the highs of the lows. You break out, then you look for the next order block. Could you find support, right? Get a bounce. But in this range, yeah, what can we trade here on Bitcoin? In this range, it's just there's nothing to do. We need to get out, get to zones of interest, fake out, look for a rejection. There's nothing to do here currently for me anyway with this boring price action. We got the markets opening, no volatility at all. Stock market is pumping, has been pumping quite good in the last 24 hours. Now it's a bit rangy, a little bit boring, to be honest. A little bit boring, but yeah, if we are going to be looking this, guys, instead of an ABC, a 1, 2, 3, and this is your fourth wave. Maybe your fourth wave was not a flat and it's not moving up, it's actually going to break down. This could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the levels that need to hold is the 382 or the 50%. Right, so 382 is nice because you got the higher lows right there from this order block. That could be an interesting long. 103.6, that could be an interesting long position. Might get a bounce, be defensive. Could we go lower? Absolutely, I don't know, but it's the best level here to pay attention to. The 382 with the order block that we have here from this rally, that's an interesting level. Let's take a look at anchored VWAP. It might be aligned with that level. Anchored VWAP is aligned with the 50% Fibonacci, which is also where we have an order block, right? So we've got two order blocks here at the 382 and 50%. Those are the levels that look interesting. One with the anchored VWAP from the lows of Sunday. That looks very interesting here, the 50%. If this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we do not want overlap. We do not want the golden pocket to be hit. If we aggressively move down, what I am looking at here, legends, as explained, this could be it. A, B, C. This could be it. 3-wave structure in your wave B. 1, 2. You're starting your third wave. Boom, boom. 4 and 5. Bounce. I'm looking for shorts. I think, we could go back down to the lows. Right now it's kind of recovery, everything's fine, all-time high season. I do expect a big rejection of some kind. It could start from here, it could claim the highs and then start. So the option of getting in with a small percentage, very, very small, 0.3, 0.4, is an option. I do realize it's an option, but I want the perfect trade. We move down 5-wave and we get a bounce. I'm going to enter the short later on. It doesn't matter. I won't catch the high. I'll catch a lower high. It's still good. And the best example here that was a couple of weeks ago already was this one. I'm not sure anybody that was following me throughout the last few weeks. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. Who remembers this range, guys, that we were talking about a few weeks ago? I was, we only had a couple of scenarios, but the scenario of the ABC and roll down here was so likely. It was so likely because all of this looked impulsive, and you got the three-wave structure forming a swing failure pattern. I missed out on this short of my own analysis. I missed out, guys. I did not short this move. I missed out. Where I shorted was here, which was beautiful. Three-wave structure hitting the point of control. I was like, I ain't missing this short. I am not missing this rollover to claim the lows. The lows was the first target. Of course, we got some extra profits coming in here on the rollover, but I was aware of this happening, and I didn't short the swing failure pattern, guys. I missed out. If you have been following the channel, I was happy to say the next day, guys, I missed the short. I will get into the short at some point, and explaining all of this about moving down here, forming a three-wave structure, perfect confluence with the point of control. That's where I entered the short. Same applies. If I miss the short, I will look for a short later on the sign of weakness. Same applies where we are right now. I am so aware that the price could reject from here based on the A, B, C, and we're looking for the flat here, right? Based on the original idea of the WXY, right? This one right over here. But because a C wave has 5 waves to the downside in this case, there will be some kind of 5 waves. It might be difficult. They might be difficult and not easy, but there will be a chance. There will be a chance after forming that first initial 5-wave down corrective move up, and then the next leg to the downside. So I don't care, guys. Preferably I want to get into the highest probability trade, right? So why risk right now? Understanding that, yes, you could get that 4-5 sweep up the highs. I will wait for this short, or I will wait for the sign of weakness and short later on at some point on the bounce. Okay, so yeah, just a little bit of the plan here, guys. That's the plan, and I will short it successfully, and I will share it on the next video, right? In the Telegram, in the Discord, right? That's how, that's the confidence that you have when you're looking for the highest probability move, right? You need to have confidence on your track record, on your setups. Let's go right away through the Fed Powell speaks in 15 minutes. My goodness, no way, missed out. There it is. Yes, we do. 5 minutes. Fed Chair Powell testimony. Dun, 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 dun. What's going to happen here, guys? What do you think? Fed Powell testimony. Let's ask this on a poll. Fed Chair Powell testimony. Bearish. Bullish. Stocks are almost hitting all-time high, legends. Stocks are almost at all-time high. Would you checking the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ? They're just about to scratch all-time high. If we got all the way up here, it's a matter of time. We already said a few weeks ago, actually, yeah, a few weeks ago, we said that there's higher probability in claiming all-time highs on the stocks just because we moved down in a 3-wave structure. And on this bounce, as we overlapped this pivot, right? I think, no, we were actually higher, hitting the 0.88 from here. We already said there's high probability hitting the 0.88 that we're going to hit all-time high at some point, regardless if it's rangy or not. Right now, this does not look impulsive. It's corrective. 3-wave structure. You're overlapping this pivot. There's nothing bearish about this movement down. And look, all of the FUD and war and everything that we've had here, we've still been grinding up pretty nicely. Let's go through the comment section, see what the legends are saying. Let's see how many likes we do have, guys, because it is extremely important for me to see the likes. If you want to go and follow some other guys that is hyping up the content and not providing what has been talked about in the last few days on the different levels where we could bounce, how I'm looking for my next trading setup in the trade, in the long, from the signals channel, sharing the P&L that I've got throughout the last 30 days that it's outperforming Bitcoin. There's plenty of interesting characters that you can follow that are traders. And I'm getting, some really poor likes, guys. I'm just over 200 likes, which is absolutely sucks. And I'm giving it to you. What I'm looking for here. What is the highest probability movement? You got the Telegram or Discord to join. I'm telling you exactly what I'm doing. I'm not in shorts. I'm going to enter a short. I'm going to enter a long. I'm just going to say what I'm doing exactly. And the recent one was this one from Sunday that the people in the Telegram was I did let them know that I'm jumping into this trade. Sharing with you what are the scenarios, what are the levels, what are the possibilities here. And I get 200 likes out of over 600, 700 people we were before, guys. Yeah, this is not good. It's no bueno. No bueno. It's no bueno, guys. I'm going back to Spain tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow, maybe. Let's see, man. Airspace is closed. Was closed yesterday here. I'm not sure if you guys did look at some kind of news, but man, there were rockets going above my house. It was not good. It was not good. Airspace closed. I was like, holy moly, I'm trapped now here. Is it going to be bullish? I don't really care what this is going to be, but let's see what the community are saying. Andy provides killer value, like the shit or else, says World War 208. Thank you very much, brother. Yeah, I kind of get mad. I need to get mad with you, all right? The ones that haven't smashed up the like. Because my like button really sucks, guys. And then I go to some people that have over 1,000 likes, and I look at their content and their technical analysis, and I'm like, I'm going to quit, guys. I'm going to quit. I'm like, no way. No way. No way. No way. It cannot be true. No way. I am not going to give any names. There's plenty out there, guys, as you know. 𝗬𝗍𝘆, my man, the legend. I was just discussing 𝗬𝗍𝘆 a few minutes ago, how we were looking at this to be an ABC. Holy moly. I have to be honest here. We were looking for another leg down to look for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could have been in already. I have to be honest here, because this is actually information that is in the Discord, right? We cannot lie, because if not, we'll get the Discord members saying, you actually possibly looking for one more low here. But this drop was aggressive. It made sense based on a 5-wave structure here to get an ABC flat and form a larger move up. And we were in a call for over 30 minutes discussing this scenario, right? Other scenarios as well, but we were really looking at the local scenario. And 𝗬𝗍𝘆, it did pump, my man. We both said it was going to pump. Yeah, that drop was aggressive. I was in a long already. Could I have added to the long here with the rally? I mean, the rally here was looking very interesting, because if you move down like this and you kind of swing failure pattern from the lows and you start overlapping these pivot lows, you know that this is bullish. Could you get a correction or not and continue up? I do not know. But for this, rallying all the way up here, you could have kind of FOMO'd into a long. Stop loss here. But this was a confirmation, literally, once you start overlapping this pivot low, ABC flat, and you get the rally, looking for at least that three-wave structure that was discussed yesterday on the stream. So yeah, anyways, it's just so cool, guys, to see, because then we got the good news, right? This is when the good news kicked in. It's because of good news, not because of your technical analysis. And you know, we were looking for that. This was one scenario, and obviously with the new information that we had yesterday with this move with Devil, it was like ABC. This is it. This is it. This has to be it to get this three-wave structure when we were trading at the 101k levels. You know, yeah. And now we're up here at the 106k zone. Anyway, interesting. It's fascinating. You got the bullish news are obviously helping out here with the analysis. But it's just so cool, guys, to see how you know, the news comes after the analysis, right? It comes after the analysis, which is like this saying of show me the charts and I'll tell you the news is this is why there is a bearish case scenario that I think, you know, most of the scenarios that I've shared here on this stream do point out that a rejection in this area is highly likely. That is the overall thing. I'm like, not in the short. I don't mind shorting later. Okay. It doesn't matter. But most of the scenarios don't say that we're going to go to all-time high in the next coming days. This range has not finished, very likely, right? I can't say it's not finished. We might pump overnight and we're trading out 120k. It's possible, but it's unlikely. So, you know, when you look at the charts, and I realize that there is a high chance that we do reject in this zone. And most of the rejections do point out that it can be pretty deep, regardless if it's the ABC flat or not, or if it's, well, yeah, the other scenarios also point out that we could be dipping down quite a bit, which is the ABC or the WX wave being your flat, running flat, and then, you know, go sideways. Still a dip is expected. And then you have bad news tonight, right? Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, early morning. I don't know. Oh, we dropped down because of this news. The charts are pointing out that this is a rejection point. So it's like charts are saying that there's a rejection. Some bad news comes out because there hasn't been an agreement or whatever. And we dropped down because there was no agreement. Charts were pointing out that there was a rejection here was likely, regardless of the news, right? So what is the bullish news? Well, the bullish news was yesterday, which was supposedly everybody's friends now, right? Not like that, but there was a, you know, no more missiles to be launched, right? Powell is at Congress right now, about to speak. Get ready for volatility. Yeah, we might get some volatility because Powell is speaking right now. Anyway, you know the plan, right? I know a lot of people just come for the highest probability scenarios on Bitcoin and then they fuck off. They don't want to come here to chat and do a bit of Q&A session. It's very common. Sorry for my language there, guys, but what are your highest probability 15-minute structures currently? Yeah, I mean, let's go to the 15-minute structures. Now the overall question right now is this an ABC? Or is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Right? That's the overall question that I have right now in my mind. Can it be the end of a ABC? Absolutely yes, because we have the flat scenario here. If it, you know, we have this scenario, where is it? The one that we've been discussing throughout the last few days. This one right over here. I mean, the timing is very bad, guys. This white line should come all the way here and this one all the way up here. Let's fix this up, guys, a little bit because it just looks bad. It's a projection that was mentioned many days ago, right? To get the leg down, then the bounce, claim 106K. It was just a projection, but this really is this, and this is this, right? And now we're kind of looking for this. That is one scenario. But anyway, I'll clean it up later on, right? This is the original idea that we had a few days ago. So now the overall question is this. It's very hard right now because eventually we moved up with some pretty nice volume. This has to be either a wave 3 or a wave C. If it's a wave C finished, then we are looking for the pullback down already, right? Which could initially be your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We claim the lows A, B, C flat, right? So it's a very tricky zone. You know, this is why I'm in no shorts yet. I'm not in a long. I realize that this could be the end of a 3-wave structure, and I realize it could be a 4th wave and then a 5th wave. So at the end of the day I'm interested in shorting the 5th wave. We get a pump and we fail to break out this high of last Friday. I'm interested in shorts. So I kind of need a bit of that information right now, because now my overall question is this a 3-wave structure? We have liquidity above here. I don't want to short yet. I don't want to long because I do have a 3-wave move up. We've hit the minimum target. So I don't want to do anything here. I don't want to do anything. So if we get that next leg up here, this is a confirmation of a wave 4, and we get this leg up, I will be aping into a short at some point, and I will let the Telegram know. And the Discord eventually, of course. I need to let the Discord know, the legends, but also the Telegram, which is the signals channel, once I trigger that short position, because I made it very clear I'm not in a short yet. Early this morning, taking profits of the long position that was taken in on Sunday. If you want to join the Telegram, you know, hook me up right away, guys. It's the first link down below, easy access. Okay, you have the link down below in the description to reach me out on the Telegram. So what if we do roll down from here? Well, it will be a confirmation if we do get a pretty significant drop here and form a bit of a 5-wave down, overlapping wave 1 or hitting the golden pocket. That will be a significant sign of weakness. The bounce will be extremely interesting because I am looking for a 5-wave down with the original idea of that ABC flat. So I will be interested in looking for a short at some bounce once we get this movement down. This would be a confirmation that the uptrend is weak. Could it just nuke down? Yes, I will very likely miss out if that is the case. I need a bit of structure. I need a bit of confirmation. So in a nutshell, that's my 15-minute analysis here, right? It's either 5th wave, interested in the swing failure pattern to get into a short, looking for a significant move down. And if we do roll down already, I will get into the bounce later on at some point, potentially, right? That's the general idea anyway. So that's a little bit of what is happening for me right now. I'm sitting on my hands because I realize this could be the end of a 3-wave move and we move down, or it actually could be a 4th wave, and eventually 5th wave should finish at some stage here at 106.5 to 108k zone, which is where I would be interested in the short, which would be nice because you're claiming quite a lot of liquidity. So it's like sweep up all of those shorts and then short, right? Short later once the stop losses are hit. So that's the general idea here. Hello, Andy. Can it be 50% of a retrace and then pump? Hello, Andy. Can be 50% of retrace and then pump? Yeah, this is also, I mean, the wave 4. I'm not sure if you are saying about a 50% retracement here from this pivot. Yeah, the interesting thing about this is if it is going to be a wave 4, your max levels is either 382 or 50%. If you get down, overlap with wave 1 and golden pocket, then that's it. This is no longer a wave 4, which will confirm the potential bearishness on the bounce to get into a short. But getting down to 50% or 382 could be an option. We talked about this just about 10 minutes ago. where we have two interesting order blocks. One order block here at the 382 and one order block at the 50%. 50% actually has the VWAP from the pivot low of Sunday. So you can add that up on the 50%. You could actually get a nice reaction at the 50% Fibonacci, where you have an order block, you got the anchored VWAP from the low, and you have, you know, the possibility of a wave 4. It would be a little bit deep, but there is a chance. I would be very skeptical on this. But you have either the SFP from the order block low with the 382 or an SFP from the order block of 50% with the anchored VWAP. It's either bounce from here or bounce from here, or it's either nuke. So you're only interested in longing the swing failure pattern. If you don't swing failure pattern, you don't long, right? If you don't get that reaction wick, you don't long. Tight stop loss beneath the low. You bounce, you protect. Just like kind of, you know, long in here, the little bounce that we got from this mini range that we formed today, right? So you know the lows can get a reaction liquidity grab. So yeah, you're long here. Stop loss here. Get the bounce. Yeah, if you protect, you might get stopped out. You might leave the stop loss where it is. I'm happy, I'm bullish. I think we're going to take the highs. So same applies to these pivots. Order block right there, nice little consolidation, right? You got the fair value gap right now that it's holding support. So if you break this, I wouldn't be too interested in longing in this area, right? I'll only be interested in this order block and the 382. If you do not get that reaction and you long here, then if you maintain below, you go to the next level, which is this order block, pivot low with the 50% and the anchored VWAP from the lows, right? Which is sitting around about here. So these are the only pivots. You lose it, you're not longing. You react to it, you get into the long, stop loss at the low, you get a bounce, you can be defensive with stop loss. You know, keep those stop losses tight, guys. That's a little bit of the scenario. If you just lose them, then it's a very strong sign of weakness. Maybe the wave 4 is in here. It would be shallow. You didn't even hit the 236. Maybe the wave 4 could be in already. You got a little bit of a flat structure. Not sure if it's a flat. Did we hit the minimum target? Probably not. But, you know, just a very shallow zigzaggy move or a triangle is possible here. We're probably forming an A, B, C, D, E. Boop. And now it's ready to pop out. It is shallow though, regardless. You didn't hit the 236, which is, yeah, usually you want to hit it at least in a wave 4. But not always. Maybe it's an A, B, C, D, E, guys. That's it. And it's actually going to pop out. This does actually look pretty nice. It's a very, very, very nice. Well, it's not a triangle, my bad. It cannot be a triangle because you've hit this low. It's not a higher low, so it's not a triangle. My bad. My bad. Sorry, guys. Should have a low here for it to be a triangle. Mac. That's not a triangle. So maybe it's just a shallow ABC. You're forming your higher low here and you're taking out the highs. Maybe this was your ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finish your fifth wave. Interested in the short, right? Interested in the short later on once the highs are claimed. That's my general idea here. Let's see what happens. I will let the Telegram know and the Discord. If you want to join, remember you got an excellent discount for the end of the summer, guys. Hook me up on Telegram if you want to join the Discord, okay? We've got a massive discount right now running, so you can join the Discord or either the Signals channel in the Telegram. I heard someone will do the next live naked. Yeah, I did say if we do get to 500 likes, there is a naked live stream, guys. Yeah, but we're not going to get 500 likes. I suck at like button, so people don't like me. People that join don't smash up the like. I know lots of you do, guys. Hey, add my Discord to join best free signals group ever. Yeah, best in the world. Not happening, my man. Add my Discord. Yeah, Tight stop loss, though, says Dragon. Reject from 200 moving average on the 4 hourly at volume profile. Point of control from past few weeks. Ideal short time, in my opinion. Let's get some music on here in the background because it's getting a bit quiet. Starting to look like a Bart Simpson. Yeah, Bart Simpson patterns. They are famous. They are famous. There is a bunch of liquidity here. It would be kind of sad not to get that liquidity. We could have the chance right now to get up there. And it's time to look at the reaction. We continue to the upside in an explosive breakout. Obviously, I'm not going to short. Okay, if it is rocketing up. But I am interested in the short, guys. We remain patient. And that is something key for trading successfully, right? Gracias, hermano. TYR Wood, much love. De nada. Hermano. We got somebody Spanish here. Hit the like button, guys, says Sandeep. Yeah, the trading plans on Bitcoin has been explained. Okay, we do have Powell speaking right now, which I don't know if we're getting anything really. Not much volatility going on. Very boring day, guys, today. We did get the pump, but after the pump, you know, early this morning and today, we've just been ranging. It does look like it could be a bullish pennant. I am looking for that sweep of the highs. And then we'll take the decision. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Legends, 373 likes. I know we can get to at least 400 likes, guys. Come on, let's see what people say about the Powell testimony here. Bearish, 58% are bearish. 42 bullish. Not much more. Fowler is a very good zone, Andy. Fowler network. I still hold some Fowler network. Still got some Fowler. The only altcoin that I bought the last few weeks was ICP. I did buy a few thousand ICP. Okay. And I'm not too happy with the performance at the moment. Altcoin season will happen at some point in the future, guys. Alt season is critical part of Bitcoin cycle. It is actually true. Bottom line, if alt season is missing, there has been no bull run, right? CryptoCon, which means the cycle is not over and alt season is still coming. When is the altcoin season coming, right? When is it coming? Well, you want to be positioned, right? You want to be positioned. ICP, I mean, how good could this be? You know, you want to buy when everything's gone to hell. When everything has gone to hell and it's ranging, it's bottoming out of a downtrend. And this chart looks amazing. I'm positioned on ICP. I am positioned. I do have, I would say it's at least 3% of my altcoin portfolio now, of my crypto portfolio. I did buy a few thousand ICP. I do think it's going to hit $30. It's going to claim this high at some point in the future. And I'm getting out. I'm going to get out. I don't care if it goes to $100 or $200 or it doesn't. We need to get out, guys. We need to get out in profits, right? A lot of people have been buying at the wrong moment. I actually bought some ICP here. So I'm down on some ICP. I did not take profit. I accumulated at the $8 range, $8, $9 range. And I accumulated more in this range. So at the end of the day, I won't care. Right? It's just taking longer. So, but we want to get out, guys. We want to get out. I think ICP is a good one. Chainlink is a good one. My Chainlink is still in profit. Not by much though, guys. By about a 2x in profit. My main accumulation on Chainlink was here. And I bought a lot. And I really want to get rid of them. I'm married to this altcoin. Literally. They say don't marry your crypto. Don't marry your investments. I've been married to Chainlink since 2018 and I haven't sold a single Chainlink since 2019 that I bought at $1.60, my first Chainlink buying in 2019, guys. I saw it go all the way up and all the way down. It was my only altcoin that I did not sell in the previous cycle. All of the rest of the altcoins I did sell, but not Chainlink. So I'm married to Chainlink, and I bought more despite not taking profits. So I'm ready to get rid of my Chainlink, guys. I think, you know, at some point in the next coming months, we need to get that rally. I'm going to start getting out. I've had it, right? I'm happy with a 5, 6, 7x. It's at a 2x right now on average from this zone. What can we say? It's still in profits. I know a lot of people have been investing in crypto throughout the last couple of years, and they're down big time. It's not my case. I'm down on a few altcoins, but as Chainlink and Ethereum are my biggest holdings, and I have bought at much lower levels, I'm still in the green, but I wanted more profits. When's altcoin season happening? And I'm not buying anything when it pumps, guys. You know that. Whoever's been watching all of these crypto channels that are just talking about buy, 2025 bull run, buy. We've been very specific where we want to buy. Not, you know, some are in the red, guys. I cannot deny that. 𝗬𝗨 network, you know, I did scratch some profits on 𝗬𝗨, but the rest of my 𝗬𝗨 are actually in the red, which my average entry was 10 to 12 cents in this zone. So it's down, not by much, but it is down. So not all of my, you know, a lot of the altcoins are in the red. But as it's a very small percentage of portfolio, I have Chainlink that's backing up my losses of altcoins, and Ethereum and Bitcoin eventually. It's not much of a big deal. But I know a lot of people have gone all in on many altcoins, and they've invested a lot, and then they've invested at the wrong time. You know, imagine buying 𝗬𝗨 network at 40 cents, you know, or aped in the correction when the correction is still aggressive. You're down big time, guys. It's really calculating where the best buying zone is. And I'm happy to say, yeah, if you want to buy something, you want to buy at rock bottom levels. Could it go lower? Yes. I mean, one that is not doing good at all is Umbrella. I'm actually down quite a bit on Umbrella, but this is not even 1% of my portfolio. It's just, I do have a stack of it, but you know, this one did dip down below the baseline. So this is down, you know, over 50% from the baseline. So this one's just a matter of time of waiting for a recovery. I did see Devil, he said, I bought some more Umbrella the last couple of weeks. But yeah, this is low cap, you know, this is looking for that moonshot. You know, this could easily 20, 30x just because it's like 1 million in market cap, right? I don't know what is it now, but you know, these ones can definitely do that 20, 30x out of nowhere. Yeah, this is less than 1 million market cap. So to pump this is like, it takes peanuts for this to make a 10x. It's so easy for it. You know, the upside potential is greater than the downside. So I mean, you take that with a pinch of salt. You know, altcoins are dangerous. Andy, careful, Chainlink, not divorce you. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know, I'm the only altcoin that I've married is Chainlink, but it's in the profit. I will get rid of it. I've had enough. I can't believe Atom just slowly bleeds. Been holding this for too long, says 𝗬𝗏𝗃. Like most of my alts. Yeah, a lot of the alts, guys, it's just, this is why it needs to be a small percentage. Mainly Bitcoin. Ethereum is an altcoin, but you know, buy the big ones that do hold on, and careful where you buy. You can't buy the altcoin hypes. The altcoin rallies, stay away from the altcoin rallies. Don't ape in, because at some point it's going to dump on you, right? At some point, if you don't sell, it's going to dump on you. So buy the big pullbacks where it's finding a base. That's where you want to get in, right? Pullbacks at a base. But Atom is very interesting. Let's take a look at Atom. I never had this altcoin, but this one's been in the market for quite a bit. I mean, it's in a relatively nice, yeah, it seems dead, but this is how it goes, guys. You know, it kind of looks dead, and then when altcoin season happens, if it ever happens, right? ADA is the best example, right? This time, I know this time we don't have quantitative easing, right? We don't have Interest rates are still very high. I get it, guys. This time's different. It's taking longer. But at some point it will happen. We will have some kind of revolution that, crypto is the future, decentralization, and there will be some hype entering at some point. It's just a cycle. And cycles repeat. Okay? They just take a long time. They just take long, sometimes longer, sometimes not. So yeah. I bought DOT at $50. RIP, says Darren. Wow, yeah, DOT is another one. Do not buy, guys. I know in 2021, a lot of people got damaged, okay? A lot of people really got damaged. DOT is insane. It's actually tested the lows the last few days. My goodness. Yeah, DOT is insane. Yeah, you bought DOT at $50, literally at all-time high. Yeah, a lot of people. I remember 2021 because I've been in crypto since 2018, and I remember the euphoria of 2021. Friends, family, what crypto? This, that, the other. I'm like, wow, I'm actually taking profits, right? It was insane, the euphoria that there was in 2021, and people that were joining in 2021. They've gone, guys. This is why crypto channels, they get to 100, 200, 300,000 subscribers and the views go down because, people have had it, right? People have just had enough. I mean, this is a technical analysis channel. We look to make gains in Bitcoin. We look to share how to, what are the different scenarios that we're looking at, where I'm looking for a trade, I'm trying to outperform the holdings with trading, right? That's the general idea here. Trading is the way sometimes, right? Especially right now, you might think there's not many, if you want to do a 2x on Bitcoin, you're maybe going to have to wait a couple of years. Will we hit $200,000 this cycle? I don't know. So you need to trade it, right? But you need to trade it successfully. And most of the people do not trade it successfully. So, that's an issue. But this is why we have the education. This is why we have the modules. We have the Discord. We have, even now the Telegram, which I'm sharing where I'm entering my Bitcoin trades. If you want the easy path, well, I'll share you my information on the Telegram. If you want to educate yourself, you have the Discord with video updates. You have the modules going from basics, support, how to use Tradingview, support, resistance, candlesticks. Then you go to the advanced, harmonics, pointer controls, daily levels, weekly levels, trading strategies, Elliott wave theory advanced, right? Where we go through all of the different complex scenarios. You have the Discord, guys, where you have everything to take your trading to the next level. And of course you have that learning curve. And right now we have the summer launch, which is giving you that massive discount. So for the first 100 people only, okay? So make sure to hook me up on the Telegram down below so we can get you that discount to join either the Legends Discord, so you get the modules, educational content, video updates, possible setups, or a special deal to join my Signals channel, okay, in the Telegram, which I'm sharing my Bitcoin trades basically. And they're very chilled, guys. I'm very chilled. I get into 2-3 trades a week maybe. I'm in the long, I'm interested in short. I might, I will get into the short at some point. You just need to know when, right? And I'm sharing that with the Telegram. Trading is the way. Well, yeah, I mean, if you would have bought altcoins, if you buy Bitcoin now, for it to do a 2x, it needs to go to 200K. If you buy altcoins, yeah, maybe altcoins will, maybe it can do very well in the next coming months. I have both. I have a trading account, a couple of trading accounts, and I have a, Bitcoin and crypto portfolio. I can't live out of my Bitcoin portfolio. It's an investment. It's for the long term. So trading is the way, but it's not for many people that lose money, right? It's very common to lose money in trading, especially in your first years. First 2 years, maybe 3 years even. It took me 2.5 years approximately to start being consistent and profitable. It is a very, very difficult curve. And still make a few mistakes, but I don't get wrecked, right? I don't risk more than 3% of my trading capital, trading accounts, right? Because there's another opportunity around the corner. But it's very difficult. Emotions are very difficult. You know, I'm like interested in the short. I'm interested in a short. When am I going to short? When am I going to short? Remain patient. Well, if I don't get into a short here, you know, where am I looking at? I'm either looking for this rejection from the highs, sweep the liquidity, or I'm looking for the confirmed impulse down to overlap these pivots and get into the bounce on the short. I know this will have high probability. So right now, as explained, you know, it's a difficult, well, it's not difficult. I just need more information. It could be a 3-waver or it could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need some invalidations for the 4th wave, or I need the 5th wave. If I get the 5th wave, after the 5th wave, you're likely going to get some kind of a corrective move. But the 5th waves could be expanding. They could go to 108 or 109, right? So it's all going to be analyzed, you know, in the next coming hours. How do we get that breakout and then jump into the short potentially, right? This is the 5th year of trading and still wrecked. Well, it's all about having a proper strategy, remain patient, know the levels. I mean, strategies can be very different for many people. Is remaining patient and exactly knowing where to enter those trades. You know, I've wanting to be getting into a short since the pump of yesterday, and I'm still in no shorts. I'm not scalping at the moment. I'm just looking for nice swings, and I got into the long. No shorts yet, no shorts yet, no shorts yet. I ride that long from Sunday and I take profits and I protect position. Still in no shorts. We're still rallying. This could be a 5-wave structure. We're in the 4th wave. It's understanding when to not. Well, you could jump into a long at the lows of this range. Yes. I mean, this is like scalping. Sweep up the lows of this range and get into a long. Once you sweep up here, get into a long in this zone. Yeah. Good risk management. I mean, it all depends on if you're scalping the range or if you're just looking for bigger swings, which is my case. Right? I'm interested in this swing movement down. Right, so I'm just waiting patiently to either get the confirmation and then I'm looking for a short on the bounce, or get the 5th wave and looking for the swing failure pattern from these highs potentially, or maybe actually get a bigger move up, you know, and then analyze very carefully where I want to get into the short. You know, you can go crazy. You know, it depends on the strategy. People got battered for too long. Yeah, there's no doubt about it, right? The views go up on crypto channels when there's bull market, there's, you know, altcoin season, then the views go. But as at my trading channel, I want to believe that the views still maintain. The people are going to join. They're going to enjoy it. They enjoy the analysis, the different projections, the education. You also got, you know, you have the links down below to support the channel, and you got the education and the Telegram. But yeah, I believe because it's a trading channel and we look for different projections and possibilities, I want to believe that, yeah, we are a crypto channel also. I do have crypto investments. I do have Bitcoin and some altcoins, but it's mainly focused on trading. Try and take your trading to the next level based on the information that you do get here. We're finally getting a push. Yeah, a little bit. Very boring, guys. It's kind of stuck there. It does look like it wants to do so. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining. I am traveling tomorrow, so I'm not sure if I'll manage to make an update. Trade safe. You got the Discord. You got 𝗬𝗍𝗍 providing updates every single day. 𝗬 looks like dot. 𝗬 also not good. 𝗖𝗿𝘆𝗽 just hit new all-time low. Absolutely awful, guys. I know some altcoins are like really, really bad. You only need 5 alts to make decent money. Very true. I have over 20 actually, but some of them are like low caps. They're in the dust. But it's true. I wouldn't have more than 10 altcoins. It's kind of silly. Have 3 high caps, 3 mid caps, 3 low caps. That's it. Alt season, way too difficult to manage 50 altcoins. Very true, 𝗬𝗍𝗍. Much love to everybody. Smash up the like button on your way out. Thank you very much. Join the Discord if you want more updates. We have the legend 𝗬𝗍𝗍, the coach, providing updates every single day like a madman. He's absolutely a legend. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Safe trading, and I'll see you in the next one.